Exactly, man. Well, I mean, there's absolutely zero doubt that you really know what you're talking about, but I feel like we should get granular with things. And I do have a few questions regarding just sales in general, because at the end of the day, insurance agents are in the world of sales. You know, they are selling themselves. Yes, they are protecting people, but they are selling themselves. They are selling their agency. And I do have a question regarding objections specifically. Would you say that there's a difference between objection avoidance and objection handling?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things that really disturbs me when I work with agents is that they will go years and years and years and years continuing to come up against objections that they hear on a regular basis, both themselves and their sales teams, and yet they don't do anything about it. They just allow those objections to continue to perpetuate, and they continue to lose those sales opportunities. And so I think you have to divide your strategy into two parts. I think you have to say, what can I do to avoid objections in the first place? And then for the ones that squeak through, do I have a proven process to handle them? And I don't believe in the statement of, quote, overcoming objections, because I think that connotates sort of crushing them or blowing them out of the water and dominating them. And so I don't believe in that strategy at all. In fact, I think the thing that works the best is the complete opposite. But if we
Hmm.
cycle back to avoidance, if you think about the word objection in general, people are objecting to something, either something you said or didn't say, or either something you did or didn't do. People don't just walk around objecting to stuff. And so we either said something that triggered something in them, or we didn't say something that should have been addressed, or we did something that caused them to become concerned. And I'll give you the most common one. I think the granddaddy of all things that create objections, and that is the product first conversation, leading with products, pivoting to products. Again, I don't know if I'm going to step on anybody's toes here, but there's a lot of stuff that's taught and retaught and regurgitated in this industry that is not helpful to anyone. And one of the biggies is bringing up products, and you could substitute the word solutions for products first in the conversation before bringing up the risks that the person's dealing with, or the potential consequences first. And so that creates, honestly, most objections. And so would an example be helpful here?
Please. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I get exactly what you're talking about because I actually used to be in business development, but I do think that an example for our listeners would definitely be great. So,
So a lot of property casualty agents also have, as part of their sales objectives, to sell life insurance. And what a lot of agents do is they say to their teams things like, ask everybody about their life insurance, or say things to the client like, hey, we haven't talked to you about your life insurance. Should we talk about that? And all that happens is you literally, by that action, create the objection. So now the client comes back with, I have it at work. I have that covered. I'm fine. I don't want to talk about that. Things like that. And then you are immediately sort of in this trap of, quote, now you got to overcome all that stuff. And I think, number one, if you just stop doing that, so a lot of business success is based on what do you start, stop, or keep doing that was working, right? And so my suggestion would be stop doing that. If it constantly creates objections, stop doing it and do something different. And the different, just to not, sort of bury this, is ask people about risks, not products. Because I don't know if you remember, there was a toy, if you will, a kid's entertainment device called a slip and slide.
yep.
And a slip and slide, for those of you who have unfortunately never had the pleasure of owning one or using one, is basically a piece of plastic with a hose that runs along it and wets it down. If you really want to go fast, you throw some dish soap on there and you run across the lawn and you dive belly first and you slide across this thing and you slide off the other end and you giggle and it's fun. You run back again and do it all over again. Well, a lot of agencies are engaging what I call in slip and slide sales prospecting activity. They're getting into the conversation fast. Like if you bring up life insurance, boop, you're in the conversation. But you're shooting off the end of the plastic because the client immediately is like, nope, don't want to talk about that. And they sort of put up the hand of objection. And they, unfortunately, the problem is they not only object, they now have labeled you as a product peddler. And what that does is it really makes it very difficult to re-enter that conversation later. And it makes it very difficult for anybody who follows you. So let's say team member A brings it up. Well, that agency is now going to be labeled as product peddlers, not just the individual. And anybody who asks down the road, who unfortunately will likely again ask about life insurance, they're just reinforcing the message that this agency is just trying to pitch policies and not really here to help me. And it creates a tremendous amount of immediate and also long-term resistance. And so I think I would caution people to really think about, are you sort of ruining your book of business's receptivity to your offers of helping them by offering them products instead of solutions to problems not yet explored? So I don't know if that helps you with that explanation.